So my name is Christian Dye, and I'm in the North Shore. And I've been a CoSA volunteer for about 2 years now. I've been part of 3 different circles. I was asked to speak here on a couple different topics, but I thought I'd start by this. I'm in the middle of a book right now, and it asks something pretty profound, and I thought I'd share it. And take a second to reflect on it. And the book said this: who is the heroes in the story of your life? Who's the heroes in the story of your life? And I thought about this, especially as I was coming over here. And I have learned a lot from CoSA, and the experience has taught me a lot about the complexity of abuse and how much people don't understand it. You know, maybe you even talk to some people today about where you're coming and the type of volunteer work you're doing, and they kind of, you know, they're saying, "Oh, I don't think I can do that. You know, good for you, but I don't think I can do that." But that experience happened to me, but the more I got involved with CoSA, the man who brought me in was a man from my church, Richard, over there. And when he kind of described his story, I thought, you know, I should be part of this organization, and I'll try to describe my story as well, which is kind of why I'm up here. So why did I want to get involved in this? I'm very, very busy, very busy at work, and I already do a lot of volunteer work overseas. So this over here, I really like 2 themes of CoSA that really resonated to me, that attracted me to it. So one was that it was helping those who had been victimized themselves. Helping those who had been victimized themselves. And the other was preventing of more victims of sexual abuse. So both of them, I thought, those are great things. And what ended up happening was I was then made aware through being part of these teams over here on how I can help even more. And right now, as of 2022, about 2 years from now, CoSA Canada funding, unfortunately, will come to an end. And so our organization that we're all part of, that we all believe in, is in jeopardy, essentially. So one of the ways that we reacted to this was to create a fundraising committee. You know, and then I decided to be part of this committee. I have a business background over here, so what I thought is I would take a look at this from a business perspective, as a consultant. And one of the first things I did was I sought out another organization similar, and I tried to understand how they had fundraising efforts and what they did. And these guys had years and years of experience of doing this, so I thought, these are the experts, I got to listen. So I sort of want to share some of the strategies that we're going to do in 2020, or we call it our 2020 vision. If there's any, maybe not them all. Okay, so our 2020 vision. So the first thing that they said that we need to expand is our community. You know, need to expand our community. So I grabbed the definition over here. Community is defined as a group of people living in the same place and having common interests. That's what a community is. Well, if you read a little bit further, they say that how can you judge the strength of a community? And you judge the strength of the community by how they treat their most needy members, how they treat their most needy members. And this room is exemplary of that, because how do we treat the most needy members of society is we support them. We don't judge them. You know? And so now the expansion of our community in our 2020 vision is to try to gain a lot more awareness, but in a different way. So we all belong to so many different communities now. We have church communities, we have maybe our ethnic background has a community, you know, our family is a community. But how in CoSA are we going to try to extend our community? Well, one of the ways is by creating a bit more of an awareness campaign. So we're calling it the No More Victims campaign. And what it will allow us to do is to invite people to be part of our community, to gain more awareness about CoSA and some of the things that we're going to try to do. So sort of along with the fundraising, I've sort of created a kind of a communications committee. And it's a series of workshops and webinars and events, and it's really, really good stuff. It's the type of things that you want to tell all of your friends about. It's things like, you know, I want you to be part and listen to the webinar on how to keep your kids safe from online predators. You know, and we'll have guest speakers. Come to workshops on how to deal with, you know, teaching street smart kids. How we made our kids smart, more street smart, or how to deal with sexual abuse if you yourself have been a victim. So all of this is creating a great amount of awareness. Now, I have 3 daughters, 3 very young daughters, and I don't want them to be scared of this world. I want them to explore this world. But more importantly, I want them to be able to give back to this world. And through example, this is how I want to teach them. And so part of this big campaign is launching us to invite others into our community and sort of using our own influences with our own communities, whether it be our family, and said, here's a really good talk, or here's a really good workshop, or here's something that all of your kids should be listening to. And what it'll end up doing is just creating more awareness around CoSA and us as a community, because at some point over here, we're going to lean on our community in order to keep this community going. CoSA gets, there's 35 core members, there's funding for about 9 of them, right? So everyone is stretched so thin. So how can we ask our community, of the people that are in here for fundraising dollars who give so much? Well, really, what we want to do is we just want to have you help us to just expand the community. So that way that one person doesn't have to give so much. We can ask very little from everybody. So now we have a threefold initiative here in 2020. Number one, to invite others into our community in order to educate them on safety. Number two, to promote CoSA as a prevention of sexual abuse organization to our extended communities. And number three, and the most important one, is to keep CoSA running as a not-for-profit organization. That's the most important one. And the way we're going to keep it running is by expanding the community and getting them to become more aware. So here, the way that you could help out on the last one over here is by inviting people in different forums. So there's slips of paper that are going to come around on the tables, and it's going to read something like this. I would love to support by, and then you have a checklist, helping the communications team by sharing their upcoming webinars, workshops, and events, with my circle of influence. Maybe volunteering with the planning of an upcoming event. Maybe a great speaker that would align and that you want to introduce them to because they would be a great webinar speaker, or they would be great for a workshop. Or perhaps you want to invite friends or colleagues to a fundraising event that we end up having, And the idea is they're not going to be blindsided by what this event is. You're going to say, oh, those are the people who gave those last 3 webinars that, we shared with our kids, those webinars we shared with our family members, those webinars we shared with our colleagues. And so we know who these people are. It's not a mystery to them. And then, of course, if you're unable to help at this time, because of our time commitments, you can just say, not at this time, but absolutely in the future. So it's a very, very gentle way of getting people to get involved over here. So, the idea by creating this larger community, there will be less financial pressure on any one individual, or less financial pressure on the existing community by expanding the community. So, what I say is you want to be a hero to someone else. You want to be a hero by inviting someone into this community, because now they are getting all of this safety awareness education as well. Who doesn't want their friends or their colleagues to become more safe over here? So, in sort of wrapping up over here, so the way that I want everyone to think about how they can get more involved is to, one, check one of the tick boxes and saying how you're going to be involved a little bit further. It could be as simple as just saying, by all means, I want to help share your upcoming events or your upcoming webinars. Just add my name to the list so that when we send you an invite and say, there's a webinar, a police officer is talking about how to make sure your kids aren't subject to an online predator, then you would say, yep, send me the link, and I'm going to post it on my Facebook, or I'm going to share it on my Instagram, or I'm just going to post it out to my friends and say, you guys should really listen to this upcoming talk. So that, of course, is one way. Now, the other way, of course, is by giving yourself. And I know, in today's world, there's a lot of financial pressure coming in so many different ways. So it's not really the dollar amount that we're concerned about, it's the participation amount that we're concerned with. And that's why the participation amount, it could be, $10 a month, $20 a month. It can be very, very low. But what was the reasoning behind that? And this is what I'm getting from the other organization that I learned. It says, you want to have a high participation rate, because how can somebody invite a friend to a fundraising event when you yourself don't donate in any form? right? How can you ask them that this is a great cause, but aside from time, I don't feel that it's enough to give any sort of monetary donation. So that's something I know it's a personal decision. There's actually no pressure, especially no pressure on especially some of the invited guests over here. That's not what this evening is about at all. But if you sort of find it in your heart, you said, you know what, we donate $200 a month right now. One to BC Cancer, one to save the whales, or one to the different organizations. But you might sort of say, well, we're going to keep that same amount at the 200, but we're just going to shift some of the amounts because we do believe in this cause over here. So if you'll consider to be part of that over here. And so what I sort of wanted to say in closing is this, when I think of the great things that are happening in CoSA right now, I really think that there are amazing things that are happening, and all of the stories, and the three circles I've been a part of, and I know one of the core members is here, we really are talking about victims who caught they caught a bad end of the stick in life. And so some of you said, well, I didn't. If you lived in a great home and you grew up in a great environment, maybe you have children of your own and they're leading great lives as well, you're considered the lucky ones. You won the lottery. How much would you pay in order to keep the rest of society safe? So in conclusion, I want to say this. Who is the heroes in story of your life? Well, the answer should be you. At the end of your life, you should be the hero of the story. But how will you make yourself be the hero? So the envelopes are coming around, I believe. Like I said, get involved in some way, whether it be monetary or whatnot. But if you can't get involved, it would be fantastic. Thank you guys for listening.